You bury your grandmother in a wooden box, lower her into the ground, and place flowers on top. It feels ancient. It feels instinctive. But the real answer to where this comes from is far stranger than instinct. Your ancestors did not always do this. For most of human history, death had no ritual at all. A body was left where it fell. Then, somewhere around 100,000 years ago, something changed. Humans started digging holes. They started arranging bones. They started leaving objects behind with the dead. Why? Nobody agrees, but the evidence is impossible to ignore. In 1957, an archaeologist named Ralph Selecki was excavating a cave in northern Iraq called Shanidar. He was not looking for graves. He was looking for stone tools. Instead, he found a skeleton curled in the dirt, and around it clusters of ancient pollen. Selecki proposed something radical. He suggested Neanderthals had laid flowers on their dead. He called it the flower burial. The idea spread everywhere. Newspapers loved it. It reshaped how the public saw Neanderthals not as brutes, but as beings capable of grief. Here is the part most people never hear. Decades later, other researchers questioned the pollen. Some argued it could have blown in naturally, or been carried by burrowing rodents that are common in that region. The flower story may be wrong, but something else in that cave was not in dispute. The body itself had been placed deliberately, legs bent, positioned with care. That much, the rock and the bones agree on. So set the flowers aside for a moment. Ask a harder question. Why place a body at all? Why not just leave it? Think about what a body becomes once someone dies. It stops being useful. It cannot hunt. It cannot speak. It cannot warm you at night. By every practical measure, it is now just weight. And yet, something in your ancestors refused to treat it that way. That refusal is the beginning of ritual. Paul Pettit, an archaeologist who has spent decades studying how early humans treated their dead, argues that burial was never really about hygiene or disease. Early humans did not understand germs. They were not burying bodies to stay safe. Pettit suggests something else was happening. The act of digging, placing, and covering was a way of marking a boundary, a line between someone who still belonged to the group and someone who no longer did. Picture it. You dig with your hands. Your knuckles bleed on stone. You are not doing this for warmth. You are not doing this for food. You are doing this for someone who can no longer thank you. That is new. That is strange. No other animal on Earth invests effort like that in the dead. Elephants come close. They will linger near a dead herd member. They touch the bones with their trunks. Chimpanzees have been observed carrying dead infants for days, refusing to let go. But none of them dig. None of them decorate. None of them return to the same spot year after year to mark it. Humans do. At a site called Sungir in modern-day Russia, archaeologists found something that stopped researchers cold. 2 children, buried head-to-head, covered in thousands of ivory beads. Each bead would have taken close to an hour to carve by hand. That means the beads alone represent thousands of hours of labor. For 2 children, in a world where every single hour was needed just to survive the next winter, why would a community spend that much time on people who could never repay it? Here is where the story turns. Eric Trinkos, a paleoanthropologist who has studied Sungir extensively, points out that this was not really about the dead children at all. It was about the living. A burial like that is a message. It tells everyone watching that this group values its members enough to bury them like royalty, even the smallest, even the ones who contributed nothing. That message binds a community together. It says, you matter here, even after you're gone. And a community that believes that will fight harder to protect its living members too. Death, in other words, became a mirror. What you did for the dead reflected what your group believed about the living. Now look at red ochre. This pigment shows up again and again at ancient burial sites, dusted over bones, packed into graves, painted onto skulls. Ochre is not food. It does not warm you. It has no practical use in daily survival. So why does it appear next to the dead on nearly every continent across tens of thousands of years? One theory is unsettling in its simplicity. Ochre is red. Blood is red. Some researchers believe early humans were symbolically returning color, and with it, some idea of life, to a body that had lost both. You do not need to believe in an afterlife to do this. You only need to feel that something is wrong about a person simply disappearing into nothing. That feeling is older than religion. It is older than language, possibly, and it never left you.